What's going on YouTube? So the Sorento has long been one of the most popular and most important Kia products. However, recently it's been somewhat overshadowed by its big brother, the Telluride. But that all changes right now with the arrival of this all-new 2021 Sorento, which learned a thing or two from the Telluride, but certainly has its own distinct flavor. Now, Kia was nice enough to send us not one, but two different Sorentos to sample for the last couple of days. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the review and see if the Sorento stands out in the same way that Telluride does. Now, normally in our full reviews, we talk about all the different trim levels and show you guys pictures of what they look like. But today I have the privilege to show you guys two of them side by side since Kia brought us both different design languages. So this gives you a really good look at them side by side. I'm going to start over here with the blue one because this is what the majority of the Sorentos are going to look like. This is kind of the sportier appearance between the two of them. And this comes on the S through the SX Prestige level. What you'll notice up here is that signature tiger nose grille like many other Kia products, and it is finished in a nice gloss black. And then down here on your lower fascia, like I said, it kind of has the sport appearance, so it's a little bit squattier, and again has the piano black elements that go all around the vehicle. Now, if we turn our attention over here to the X line, this is the rugged version. It gives you the more rugged appearance compared to this one. You'll notice this has the hyper silver finish on here, and then you also notice down here on the lower areas, this is a little bit more squared off, and you also have the look of a skid plate at the bottom. Now, the X-Line isn't just about having a more rugged appearance, it does actually have some increased capability. So you'll notice that you have a little over an inch more ground clearance with this one, bringing the total to 8.2 inches. Now I'm going to turn back over here to this side and talk about the headlights. So Kia does nicely include standard LED headlights on all the models. However, on the LX through the EX trim level, you will have a halogen high beam. But the rest of the models, those are going to come with these projector full LED headlights. You'll notice you have a really cool looking separated daytime running light and turn signal. The daytime running light's not amber, but the turn signal is amber. And then down here at the bottom, on the EX and up, you'll have LED fog lights, which are nicely integrated into this lower fascia. Now, coming around to our wheels, we do have some nice looking options on board to match with the overall theme. So the standard wheel is going to be a 17-inch alloy on the LX. The S and the EX have 18-inch contrast alloys. And then when you get up to the SX trim level, that's where you'll get these 20-inch alloys. On this model, it's finished in the gloss black to match with the gloss black trim around the rest of the vehicle. But if you choose the X-Line package, that's going to get a gray finish on these wheels. And moving on up here to our mirrors, we do have standard heating as well as the LED turn signal. And then so long as you choose the S trim or above, that's going to get you the gloss black finish as well as standard blind spot monitoring. Now, before we talk about the stylish all-new rear design of the Sorento, let's go ahead and talk about a few things here at the side that differ between the trim levels. So this SX Prestige that we have on this blue one is going to have gloss black roof rails, and these are kind of the stylish roof rails. However, if you go for the X-Line package over there, they are the more functional roof rails that are bridge style. Now, as far as the rear design itself, you're going to find a very stylish design. It kind of reminds me of the Telluride, although it definitely isn't just a miniature version. It has its own look to it. Now, breaking down the individual elements, you're going to have LED tail lights on the SX trims and higher. And you notice you have the LED turn signal going through here. We have Sorento spelled out across the back, and that's going to be on all of them. And then dropping down in your diffuser area, on this model we have the gloss black as well as the silver trim with fake exhaust outlets. And if you go for the X-Line over there, you'll have a little bit more of a rugged look with the matte finish and a silver piece in the bottom. Now, this is a family SUV, so Kia would have really missed the bar if they didn't throw in most of the safety systems standard, and they do, since you're going to have forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, as well as lane keeping assist and auto high beam standard on all of the trim levels.
Now if you go for the EX trim or higher, that's also going to throw in adaptive cruise control with stop and go. And then if you go for the SX trim or higher, that's going to throw in a highway driving assistance. And then furthermore, the SX Prestige will add rear auto braking. Well guys, that's going to end our discussion of the exterior design of both of these Kia Sorentos. So now let's go ahead and hop on the inside and see what luxury Kia has put in there. I'm expecting a lot, so let's go ahead and check that out. And before we do that, hit that subscribe button down below.
So for the interior, I wanted to take a look at this X-Line model because it has a really special interior, which we'll see in just a second. But anyways, as far as the smart entry system, this is going to be standard on all but the base model, and it does have the new Kia key fob, as well as remote start built into the fob. Now to get inside the Sorento, there is not a sensor behind the handle, so you'll just press the black button. And I don't know if you noticed that or not, but the mirrors do fold out as you approach the vehicle, not when you unlock the vehicle. Alright, so take a look at this cabin. As you can see, really makes a strong first impression. Definitely looks very upscale, especially when it's finished in this rust color. So let's go ahead and talk about all the different interior color and material options you can get. So your LX trim level, that's going to come standard with cloth seating in black. However, the S through the SX trim level, that's going to come with leatherette seating in your choice of black or gray. Now, when you get up to the SX Prestige level, that's where you'll get upgraded to real leather, which comes with those really nice diamond quilted bolsters. That comes in black or gray. However, if you choose the X-Line package, like we have on this specific example, that unlocks an additional color option called Rust, which is what you see here. Absolutely love this interior combination. It is really beautiful. Now turning over here to your door trim, it is very nicely finished. You'll notice leather covering all of this, including this assist handle. You have this rust color leather with color contrast stitching back here behind it, as well as above it, and the top part is soft touch. You got some faux wood trim through here, and all four of your windows will be one-touch automatic. I do want to point out though that even on the fully loaded model, you do not have memory seats. Now coming down to the seats themselves, these are going to be 10-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar support. It's standard on all but the base model. And then like I was already saying, we do have the real leather seating. Really nice looking seat, lots of different perforations, design, like I said, the quilted bolsters, color contrast piping. So definitely a very premium seat and extremely comfortable to sit in. Now, like I was saying, the interior of this Sorento looks very premium. And once you start feeling around on things, you will find a really nice selection of materials. So across the entire upper dash, this is going to be finished in a soft touch plastic. It does have a stitching detail in it as well. And then dropping down, we have this very realistic faux wood trim, kind of mimics open pore. It does a really good job. This comes on the EX trim level and the SX Prestige X-Line trim levels. Down below, these materials are going to be hard touch. We do have piano black trim all through here, and everything fits together extremely solidly. Now on all but the base model, press the button to start. So right as soon as you start it up, you'll notice something that no other Kia SUV has, not even the Telluride, and that is the 12.3-inch full reconfigurable gauge cluster. This comes on the SX Prestige level, and like I said, it is fully reconfigurable. A really, really nice looking display with very high-end graphics, and it does change, as you can see, when you change the drive mode. Now, it also has another trick up its sleeve. You have the blind view camera system on the SX Prestige, so when you signal to the right or to the left, you'll see a live camera feed of your blind spot. It's really cool technology. I do want to point out though that no matter which model you choose, there's not a head-up display. Alright, so coming back to the steering wheel, we do have a new Kia design. It is going to be nicely leather wrapped on all but the base model, and you do have piano black accents around it. Now as far as the wheel itself, it is going to be manual tilt and telescoping, and then steering wheel heating will come on the SX Prestige. Alright, but this is a family crossover after all, so let's go ahead and put it to the test when it comes to the storage. So we'll start out underneath our center console here. When we open it up, we do have a little tray here. This is removable. When we toss that to the side, you'll see we have a really large area. It does have a nice felt lining down at the bottom. So we'll grab out our coupons, which newly enhanced to be about twice as thick. Yeah, they fit in here absolutely no problem at all. So this is definitely coupon approved. Now up in front of that, we have another tiny area right here, little area here, 2 more cup holders, and then you can press up on this to release a large covered storage area. This does have a rubber lining on it, and you'll also find a ventilated wireless phone charging pad right here on the EX trim level and above. And then above that, you have your 3 USB ports. Now sliding back to our shifter here, you'll notice that unlike its cousin, the Santa Fe, this does have a regular style shifter. So just pull back forward drive, and then you can bump over here to the left if you want to do some manual shifting. And you do also have paddles on the steering wheel. Now heading into reverse, of course a backup camera is going to be standard across all models, and you'll also have rear parking sensors on all but the base model. However, if you want this 360-degree camera system, you will have to get the SX Prestige level. Really nice 360 camera, really lines up all the lines very nicely on your 360 view. Of course you have active trajectory, and you can also change the angles right over there. And then back behind the shifter you have an electronic parking brake with brake hold function. This is included on the EX trim level and above. Okay, so we'll move on up this direction. Now in a nod to Telluride, you kind of have this little handle here with your heated and ventilated seat controls on it. The heated seats, those are nicely included on all but the base model. However, if you want ventilation, that's going to require going up to the SX Prestige. And let's go and move on up to the main climate controls. So what we have on board is a dual zone automatic setup on all but the base model, which is the only one with a manual setup. Really simple controls here. We have a nice knob or button here to adjust the temperature. These buttons here are actually touch capacitive, so it makes for a nice clean look to it. And I also want to talk about these vents. These are really cool looking vents. You can actually adjust the top and the bottom, so this gives you a lot of I guess capability to point it in any direction that you want to. Alright, so now let's go ahead and sample the audio system. So most of the models, they're going to come standard with a 6-speaker sound system. However, here on this SX Prestige level, we have the 12-speaker Bose Centerpoint sound system. So let's go ahead and take a sample of this upgraded system. This is definitely a really excellent sounding sound system, really fills up the cabin nicely, has good bass, and it really is just a delight to listen to overall. Okay, so let's move into the infotainment interface. So like most recent Kia products, we have 2 different screen sizes on board. The LX through the EX trim levels, those are going to come standard with an 8-inch display, and then if you go up from that, that's where you'll get this 10.25-inch display. So this is running the latest version of the Kia Yuvo system with the same graphics that you're probably used to seeing in some other Kia products. As far as the feature set, I do want to mention that we have standard Android Auto and standard Apple CarPlay on board, and it is wireless, but only if you choose the 8-inch display. If you choose this 10.25-inch display, for whatever reason, it's not compatible, so you will have to use it with the wired configuration. That being said, if you choose the large display, you will have integrated navigation on board. And the last thing I do want to mention here is a new Kia first feature called On Demand Find My Car with surround view camera. And what this basically does is use the 360 camera to capture the surroundings of your vehicle, send it to your phone via the UVO app. That way you can kind of see a reference point of where your car is. It will remind you, jog your memory, and that way you can locate where your vehicle is. So that's pretty cool. Now moving on up from that, we do have an auto dimming mirror. This is included on SX Prestige. And then up at the very top here, we have a large panoramic sunroof. This is a very big piece of glass, goes all the way past the second row. And as you can see, this front portion does open up. This is included standard on SX trim level and is available as an option on S and EX.
All right, so sitting in the all-new Sorento's rear seats, I have to say my first impression is just, wow. This honestly feels like a luxury car sitting back here. It just has a very premium ambience, especially with this nice colored leather and the quilting. But as far as the space itself, you're also going to be impressed with that because it's going to come in at 42 inches of rear legroom and 39 inches of rear headroom, which does place it as much larger than the main rivals like the Nissan Murano, Hyundai Santa Fe, and Ford Edge. And behind rear seating position, I have, I would say, 10 inches of rear leg room, and my feet can easily slide up underneath the seat, and you can also slide these seats forward and back as well as recline them. Now turning our attention towards the features, Kia is going to throw in these vents standard on all of the models. They have a really unique design. Dropping down below that, we have a 12-volt outlet as well as a charging USB port, and you also have 2 charging USB ports in the back of each seat back here. However, I do want to point out that heated rear seats are not offered on this Kia Sorento, which I think is a little bit of an interesting choice. That said, captain's chairs are now offered for the first time on a Kia Sorento, and that is going to be standard on the EX trims and higher. All right, so now let's go ahead and check out one of the really unique things about this Kia Sorento. That's the fact that it has a standard third row. You heard me right. This Sorento has a standard third row, which, like I said, is very rare for this segment to even have at all. And in order to get back here, Kia has made it very easy. So all you have to do is locate the button here or on the seat back right here and push it, and it folds it and like propels it forward. So that's a very easy setup. And then getting back here in the third row itself, you know what? This is actually not too bad of a third row. I was not expecting this to be very good, especially for a vehicle of this size, but this is not that bad. You're going to have 29 inches of rear legroom and 37 inches of headroom, so really this is no smaller than something like a Toyota Highlander. It is worse than the Kia Telluride, though, if that's something you're comparing it to. And as you can see, I don't have a lot of thigh support, but my feet can slide up underneath the seat, which is nice. And then off to the left side, we do have a cup holder and a charging USB on each side. Now walking up to the Sorento's tailgate, you're going to notice that we do have a hands-free smart tailgate on this SX Prestige model. So that's quite nice. Then as far as the space is concerned back here, you're also going to be very impressed with this because you're going to have 13 cubic feet of space behind the third row seats. That expands to 45 cubic feet if you fold them, and then as a maximum you have 75 cubic feet, which does place it right in line with that of the competition despite having a third row. And as far as Kia has finished it back here, we have a nice carpeting along the floor. If we lift it up, we have an additional storage area right on the left side. Then off to this side, we have a 12-volt outlet, as well as buttons to power fold the second row seats. Now over here on your passenger seat, as you can see, we actually do have the same adjustment as the driver. We even have the lumbar support, which I think is pretty impressive. And then if we open up the glove box, we do have a good amount of space. And as far as fitting the coupons in there, we can definitely throw them in. There's a lot of space, although, you know, it could be a little bit larger for an SUV like this. And then if we have the sun visor up top, we have a nice mirror as well as a light. And you can also detach it as well as extend. And there is 60 miles an hour in the all-new 2021 Kia Sorento. Wow. So, you know, this is kind of a nice thing about getting a press car, is that I'm able to drive. So the, past few days we've had 2 Sorentos, and honestly the thing that struck me the most about it was just how powerful this engine is. It just has a lot of power. Now, if you go for the EX trims or higher, you're going to get this engine right here, and this is the 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder engine, and it has 281 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. So you can definitely feel that torque. And if you're behind the wheel, right now we're in the all-wheel drive X line, but if you're behind the wheel of the blue front-wheel drive one, you can actually get some tire spin because it has so much power if you fully press it down.
Exactly. That's actually a little bit of something to consider. If you're getting the turbo engine and you're thinking front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, yeah, do be aware the amount of torque can actually overwhelm the front wheels if you have the front-wheel drive model.
Now, if you don't go for the EX trims or higher, the lower models, you're going to have a regular 2.5 liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, 191 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. So you're going to have quite a bit of a power increase with this turbo model.
Right, and the cool thing about this new Sorento is we're actually going to have 4 powertrain options on board. So what we haven't mentioned yet is the fact that there is going to be a hybrid, a turbo hybrid with a 1.6 liter turbo engine and a hybrid system. Not on sale yet, but coming early next year is going to be a plug-in hybrid model, and that's going to have 30 miles of pure electric range. So you're going to have just a lot of different powertrain options to choose from once all these Sorentos get launched.
But I know we've been talking a lot about this turbo engine. The main mission of the Sorento is obviously just to be comfortable for you and your family and all 3 rows. And I have to say, very, very impressed. We are in the fully loaded SX Prestige trim, but the ride quality is exceptional. When you hit a bump, you really can't feel it. And as far as the noise level, that's also very good. So we can go ahead and get a sound level going 55 miles per hour.
Okay, looks like we're setting at 54.9 decibels before we started slowing down. Those are good numbers for sure. It seems very quiet inside of this cabin, like Mason was saying.
And those numbers are very competitive. I do remember the Toyota Highlander going that speed was around 54 decibels as well, so you're looking at very competitive numbers to that, and something like the Kia Telluride as well.
This thing's a torque monster. Now, you probably can notice at this point just how quick this transmission shifts, and that's because this is not your usual transmission. This is Hyundai Kia's new 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. So that really gives things kind of a sportier dynamic, especially when paired with this turbo, and it is a really impressive transmission. You have really smooth, really fast shifts. Performance definitely is really good. Like I said, when you're just kind of cruising along, driving at a modest pace, you don't have any types of weird dual clutch behaviors like hesitations or lurches or anything like that. But at the same time, you get the benefit of the extra fast shifting when you really want to go after it.
Now, the other base 2.5 liter 4-cylinder does just have a regular 8-speed automatic, and as far as your drivetrains, you're going to have standard front-wheel drive on all of the trim levels and optional all-wheel drive. Alright, so let's go ahead and discuss the fuel economy for this vehicle. Now, I have been very pleasantly surprised with the fuel economy rating for this turbo engine, because this turbo with all-wheel drive, so the one as equipped, is going to be rated at 23, 25, 24 combined. If you get the front-wheel drive, that's rated at 25 combined with the turbo. And then if you just go for that regular 4-cylinder engine, that's 26 combined. So really almost zero fuel economy sacrifice for going for this turbo. So I would highly recommend getting this if you can. Alrighty, it is slam dunk and airball time. So we're going to start with the airball for this Sorento. Now, believe me, it was pretty difficult for us to come up with something. We were like, what exactly can we do? So this is a little bit petty, but we're going to say there is some missing equipment that I maybe would like to see, something like a head-up display, heated rear seats in the back.
Memory seats are missing.
Those are a few weird things, I guess. They just decided to cut out even on the highest end models, but you know, take that as you wish. It's a little petty.
Now for the slam dunk, we didn't really have to think about this too much. As soon as we saw the sticker of this fully loaded model, we knew that it would be value. I say that because, as Mason will tell you in just a second, basically this very impressive 3-row crossover has a price tag that's barely just a little bit more expensive than some compact crossovers at the top end. So I'll just let Mason go on and tell you what this one is.
So this one, as equipped, is the most expensive Sorento you can buy. The SX Prestige X-Line, so it has the all-wheel drive system. This is the most expensive one, and we also have the Rust interior package for $200, plus a destination charge of $1,170 brings us to $43,960. And that blue one that we did the review on, that's a front-wheel drive version. That's barely over $42,000.
So to conclude here, I'd say it's pretty redundant at this point to say we're very impressed by this new Sorento. I mean, it really is a fantastic overall package, and Kia has really nailed big things, small details, really just about everything. And then the icing on the cake is that price tag, which puts it just right there with vehicles that are substantially less equipped and smaller. You've got a third row on board with this thing. Needless to say, if you're looking for a crossover that's in this area of price tag or even something in the class below, I think you really should check out the Sorento.
Well guys, that's going to wrap up this in-depth review of the all-new 2021 Kia Sorento SX Prestige, SX Prestige X-Line. We really appreciate you watching, and if you made it this far in the video, I know that means you enjoyed watching, so be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It's completely free, and all it's going to do is give you notifications on all of our most recent content. Special thanks to Kia, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.